You can put it on Facebook and see if it's showing up on your phone. Yeah, don't make the decision. Hey guys, how y'all doing out there? It's Doug Best. What time is it? We running a little late, but I said, like clockwork, every day of my life from now on. At 7 o'clock, we are gonna be on the Doug Best Show. And today I'm gonna welcome a few guests. You guys pull the microphones in to you. Pull the
Can you
microphones
hear
in
me?
to you. Can you hear me? I should go here. And can you guys hear us out? Do you see it on your microphone? You see it on your phone?
I send it on my phone.
Hi guys, I'm Doug Best. We on the Doug Best Show. Today is Friday, and today is yeah. Okay, so today is Friday, April the 25th, and I got my main man here with his beautiful wife, Holly Howell. Is that how I say it?
That's exactly how you say it.
Howell, and then we got the beautiful Dominique, and what they got a construction company. They entrepreneurs to the finest, in the finest. They do remodels. They
Yes,
do
sir.
new construction. She do real estate. She do notary. You do financial loans and those type things.
Or financial services.
Financial services. And guys, I want to welcome you to the Doug Best Show, and I want to invite everybody that's out there. Everybody's out there, I want you to go get a friend. And I want you guys to get used to being on the Doug Best Show with me, and I want you guys to be my friend. I want you to subscribe. We need 1 million subscribers. Every day for the rest of my life, every Friday, I don't care if I'm in a plane. As soon as I get off the plane, I'm going to grab my phone. We're going to do a podcast at 7 o'clock. We're a little late because we was chit-chatting over there just about what we want to talk about. If I'm in a car riding with somebody at 7 o'clock, every Friday, you can stake your life on it. We're going to do a podcast. And then today, we had a couple of situations that I want to touch on before we get to Howie and his wife, Dominique. I want to send my love and my condolences, just a personal note, to my cousin. His name Lonnie. We call him Bookham. He's in Caruthersville, Missouri. He died today. I'm going to do a tribute to him in a few minutes. I went back. We were there in Caruthersville, Missouri. Caruthersville, Missouri last year, May. We was back there, me and my senorita. She's never been in the deep South. That's where it's at. 1 mile from the Mississippi River. His name, Bookham. That's what we call him, but his real name is Lonnie. And if you guys want to know what Caruthersville, Missouri is, it's like a town about the size of Fowler. And the most notable person that ever came out of there, Cedric the Entertainer. Him, my sister, my aunties, and them, all of us grew up in a little southern town. I grew up there, and we came from Caruthersville, Missouri, after Martin Luther King got killed, maybe about 6 months or so. My grandfather was a big giant man. And the Klan killed him, ran him over. I remember this to this day. I'll start crying. The guy that killed him ran a barbershop. I'm a little kid now. I'm about 10 and a half years old. Everybody know the white guy killed my grandpa, but nobody's going to say nothing. But I'm a little kid. I've always been brave. I go and see the white guy, ask him, why did you kill Papa? That's what we call my grandfather. And the white man slapped me. It's like he reached all the way back to Jesus and slapped me, and I could still see the stars in my mind right now. And I go home and I tell my mom and them what happened. Then they beat me. I hated my mom and my daddy for years until later on, when we got together, and they explained to me why. They didn't want the white man to kill me. That's the little town. It's called Caruthersville, Missouri. So I want to send my love and condolences to everybody in my family. Bookham was one of the good guys. 2 good guys that was in my family. One named Rabbit and one name was Bookham. He died today. And second thing we want to talk about, I want to just send my love and my condolences to the Pope. We was just in Rome, Italy at the Vatican last year. In June, we were there. But I got to be honest with you guys, going to the Vatican is like going to Disneyland. Man, the lines were so long. We waited in that line about 3-4 hours. I had to pee. Can I say that on here? It's so many people in there, and, so many people. You waiting in the line. You go, and it's like being at the airport. You go through all, then you got to go through the metal detectors. We didn't go into the Vatican. We walked around Rome, and we was in Italy like 15, 16 days. And so I'm sending my love and my condolences to my family members and all the Catholic people all over the world. I'm not Catholic. I guess I would be considered Baptist if I was going to church, which I don't go to church, but I believe in God. And I know good people when I see good people. I think the Pope was a good guy. If anybody out there, I need you guys just to tune in and subscribe, or you could call my phone. I'm going to hook my phone up, 559-704-3785. You could find my number. And then I'm going to give the show to the Howells. Howell. Make sure I said right.
How?
And then I got to tell you one thing, though, before we get off this microphone. I ain't going to lie to you. I got my sweet potato pie from Gloria
good.
Singleton. Gloria, we done ate up all the sweet potato pies. I'm going to have to call you and get some more sweet potato pies. But I'm going to tell you one thing before we get off this microphone, though. My friend, my brother, Shannon Sharp. We ain't gonna beat the living daylights out of you. Shannon. And then yesterday I was saying I empathize with my brother, but after I studied for this segment and seeing Shannon Sharp, I gotta make sure I don't use the N-word. That Negro's crazy. Hey man, I'm gonna tell you, Shannon Sharp, you know, I'm gonna have to punch you in your mouth with my words and chastise you a little bit, because you got to be the dumbest Negro on the planet Earth. He got a bimbo. A snow bunny, 20 years old. I went through and I read everything that I could read about her at 3, 4 o'clock last night in the morning. Shannon Sharp, yesterday he was supposed to sign a contract for $100 million.
Whoa.
Pimping. Anybody in their right mind knowing if you finna go out there and try to buy some young coochie, the most you supposed to pay is $500 if you was gonna get her a house. You gonna buy her a car. I know your wife right there. I'm picking my words right.
Oh,
hey guys, Shannon Sharp, that man is not too smart. Somebody said, man, Doug, don't go too hard on him because you might want to get on the Shay Shay show. You might want him to get on the Doug Best show. I'm gonna be respectful, but that was the dumbest thing on the planet Earth.
Why buy the cow when the milk is free, Shannon? You ain't heard that?
Mr. Howe.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, man, no. You ain't got to be sorry about nothing. Pull the microphone up to you. That's Holly Howell right now.
Yes,
Introduce yourself and talk to the people.
Yeah, I'm Holly Howell.
I'm going to put the camera directly on you. You on camera 3.
Camera 3?
Yeah, that's you.
Okay.
That's what you look. Keep rolling.
Can I say one thing about Shannon real quick?
Man, you can say anything you want to talk about. You on the Doug Best show.
Okay.
We want everybody out there, somebody to subscribe. If you loving Shannon Sharp, you might get roasted tonight.
Well, I was just saying, Shannon, why buy the cow when the milk is free? And $10 million at that? Whoa. Okay. Sorry, babe. She's upset. Okay, so yeah, I'm Holly Howell, right? We're the owners of Hollywood's Construction. We do renovations, remodels, ground up builds, ADUs, little background information. I've been in the Carpenter Union.
That's you right there,
now.
Big Daddy.
That's me?
Talk to the people. You on the Doug Best show. Somebody say something. Keep going.
Been in there a little while now, and we're running our own business. We started from the ground up with
black
no
owned?
handouts.
Is
black
it black?
owned, black owned, right? That's see the uniforms, right? Mm-hmm. It's black and gold. Yes, we're black owned. But yeah, we built it out of the mud, continually progress. I always say success is the progressive realization of a worthy idea. It's kind of like a marksman, a sniper, right? He aims at something, right? He measures the wind variations and he calculates and he estimates, like Sun Tzu says, right? So we calculate and we estimate, what we want to do, or we have a long-term goal. We have short-term goals and planning. Let's introduce my lovely wife, the master's degree, master's in leadership, Fresno State grad, realtor.
No, that's her right there. You're just the people looking directly at you.
Whoa, they looking at you. Wow.
Pull that microphone up to you so you can talk. Bring it closer. Bring it closer. Bring it closer.
Closer.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get lipstick
Perfect.
on it.
Perfect.
So I'm Dominique Howell. I am the co-owner of Hollywood's Construction. I am also a realtor, and my role in Hollywood's Construction is really the project management pieces, business strategy. I'm the beauty of I'm the beauty and the brains of the business.
Oh yeah. Wait.
Operational structure.
Oh, okay.
If I'm handsome, pay the ransom, baby.
You are handsome.
I'm just playing. I'm just
and you have
joking.
paid your ransom with 4 daughters,
Oh.
but that's another discussion for another day.
No boys, all girls. I got 4 daughters.
Yeah. So we kind
You
of
know.
have we're what they call the dynamic duo, right? I'll sell you the house, and you could fix it up, or build you a new one from the ground up.
We can demo
This was
it
our
and
vision
build you.
18 years ago.
Right?
That's beautiful, guys, man. And so, you guys been together for 18 years?
No, we've been together. We've been married for 21. We've been together for longer than that.
Right.
But we had our first child when how old was I? I was 21. But we had a vision 18 years ago that I was gonna become a realtor, and he was going to be have a construction company.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And then, so guys, I'm building some apartments. I self-finance everything. And so I was thinking about on this thing earlier. Somebody, I'm on Shannon Sharp's back. I seen last night. I seen Mace, and they was saying, maybe the brother just got rich, and and I'm rich, and I ain't finna do nothing like that. Nothing like that at all. And yesterday, I'm going back to you. Don't be looking at me like that.
I didn't look at you like nothing. I'm listening.
And you listening? So yesterday, Mace then was saying, maybe the brother just done got rich, and he just, he done just lost his ways. What happened when you come up out of the mud, like me? You come up out of the mud, then you learn how to respect your money, and you respect your woman. So I don't know what's wrong with this guy. Yesterday, he's supposed to sign a $100 million contract,
Wow.
and I don't know. That's a whole nother story. But I'm in the construction business too. But my expertise is more like probably similar to yours, but I think your carpentry skills are better than mine. I'm positive that they are. And self-financing, I like to pay for everything my own self. So at the end of the day, I don't owe nobody nothing. Can we talk about the money a little while, guys? Just a little bit? Financial literacy.
Right.
So earlier we was talking about being a hustler.
Right.
So the guys that's out there that's saying, I'm a hustler, that ain't no bad word. That's an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur, he sees a vision, and he's willing to sacrifice the risk because he know the payoff is going to be so great in the future. That don't mean you got to go out there and sell no dope now. I'm not saying that. Okay, can we talk about the financial part? Pull the microphone to you. So you got it?
Yeah.
The money.
So
So you got self-finance, or y'all go to the bank?
we self-finance, right? Self-financing, right? No handouts, right? A lot goes into it. So materials, labor, payroll, Fridays, a lot goes into it. Lack of sleep, right?
Oh my God, I know about that.
Oh yeah,
I
yes,
like
yes,
bags.
sir, yes, sir.
Gray
But
hairs. Don't
where
forget
there's
about that.
great risk, there is great gain, right? Exactly what
That's
you
an
were saying.
entrepreneur.
Oh yeah, right. So we put it all on the line, right? Sleepless nights, heartaches and pain, but there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Have you seen the light? Are you seeing the light? Is that the vision?
Well, it's a big vision. So we're seeing the light, right? And for me, it's kind of like when I look at Rockefeller, right?
He was a
looking at
thief,
it-
though.
Yeah, he was. But one thing that got me is that at the time, he was the wealthiest man on the planet. And I was thinking, how is it that this guy says, when they asked him, well, how much is enough? He says more, right? And so with that concept, for some, it's keeping score. But for me, I like the part of the dream is building a legacy and helping others feed their family. You
I
know
go
what
with
I'm
that.
saying? I like getting a job and knowing I can employ people, right? I get gratitude out of that. And I noticed when I stopped chasing the money, right? And what my first goal was for having the money, when that changed to, you know what? I want to be able to help others, right? I want to be able to help others. And that's when it starts to come, right? My mentality is different now. You know, it's not only about it's about building a kingdom where the kingdom is taken care of first. And I think when you plant seeds, when you plant seeds, you reap a harvest. I mean, you plant poison or you can plant joy. Either way, one day they're both going to reap a harvest. You'll have a harvest of poison or you'll have a harvest of joy, right? So it's all in what you put into a thing. And here, what we bring to the table is our lives, our sacrifice, not to benefit us. But when we think of others first, that's when it really started to come in, right?
I could see that. And then I'm just going to see if I could just hone it in a little bit.
Sure.
I'm an entrepreneur, plus I'm a businessman. I could see the holistic, the moral, ethical approach that you're taking, but I got to be a little honest with you.
Yeah.
I want to get paid for my services.
Hey.
And then you're like, when we got the tax office, I'm the best in the business, but I ain't cheap. I ain't going, when the people come in here and they be saying, well, how much do you charge? I got to be honest with everybody. When you come in here, the best taxes, you come in here, I don't care if we got to stand here at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it takes me all night to figure out, no matter how complex something is, I'm going to figure it out. But I need the money. Because I'm a businessman. I'm an entrepreneur, you know, I understand the risk factor and all that. But I'm in it to help the people. But I'm in it also, you know, to make sure that I'm rewarded and compensated for all of my hard work. We on the same page there?
We are on the same page. Can I say something real quick?
Well, talk to me, baby. Let me know you talking about
now,
getting that money.
right? Okay. All right. Okay. So the first thing, okay, when you become a contractor, in order to become a contractor, you have to pass the business law, and then you have to pass the trade test, right? So in the business law, the first rule in contracting that you can break, I'm not lying to the people, the first law you can break is not operating to make a profit.
Now that's a hobby.
Yeah, now. So if you have a business, right? It's all about goods and services rendered. Hey, no, I wouldn't just do it for free,
okay,
right?
I just want to make sure we're on the right.
So what I was saying was, the first aspect or first law in contracting that you can break, if you're not operating to make a profit, then you're breaking a contractual law, right? So no, yeah, I can't lie to you. No, we want the things, right? We want the things, everything that comes with it.
Yeah, I got
but
you
I think
right.
that's why we became entrepreneurs,
right.
You know, because we both had stable careers, you know, and we became entrepreneurs because in a stable career, you could only go so far, right? You can only make so much money. You don't have the time freedom. You don't have, you know, the opportunity to create unlimited amounts of money. And we just decided, I mean, I guess COVID decided for us that, you know, I got laid off, you know, same with Holly. And we just decided, you know what, let's just take our tools out the toolbox and make this a full-time thing.
Put it. I've got to say this. Something just came into me. Right, we got to keep it real. All right. So Jay-Z, one of my most favorite rappers,
and he's a businessman.
Exactly,
astute businessman.
Yeah. And years ago, he said something that really struck me, and it hit home. I say, yeah, I want to help the people.
Y'all on the Doug Best Show, baby.
Yeah,
y'all better tune in and listen. Talk to him.
So he said this, right? And I live by this. I cannot help the poor if I'm one of them. So yeah, I gotta admit, yes, about the dough, right? But with more means, I know there's more that I can do. But the first thing is I cannot help the poor if I happen to be poor.
I
No, I
thought you
ain't
were going to
poor.
say, I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman.
Well, it's written on the
Oh, my
shirt
God.
and the hat. You know what I mean? We're about business.
Didn't
you
he
know
say
what I
that
mean?
too?
Hey, we're about 7 days, the same clothes if I have to, right?
Please don't.
No, you
But
gotta be.
I've
Please
done
take
it
a shower
before.
every
Now
two
we
minutes.
fresh. Now we suited and booted. I'm talking about the come
I'm
up,
just
right?
playing.
That they don't
Oh,
know about
yes.
with the 2 cans in the refrigerator and you got to go get it, right? So, you know.
That's beautiful right there. And then so Miss Dominique, talk to us for the ladies out there. I need some people out there to join the Doug Best Show. Why would you be watching a podcast, and then when you leave the podcast, not this one, you don't feel like I was there. They was talking to me. It's something I can understand. I mean, I braid hair, but I just braid hair is not a business. You want to make that hair braiding a business. I do nails. I want to make that nail. Doing the nails, you want to make it a business. You want to sell these delicious sweet potato pies
Facts.
like Gloria Singleton that I went over there about 12 o'clock the other night to got the pies because she got a business. That's what we on here talking about right here.
Business.
Black businesses, and financial literacy. That's what we talking about. But then, we just trying to say it in a way where you guys can all understand it. We don't have to be Oprah Winfrey to be a businessman or a businesswoman or an entrepreneur. It all starts right down here on the grassroots. You guys on the Doug Best Show. We need everybody to go to YouTube and subscribe. And if you got some questions, just say it. Do a comment over here. I'm going to read them in a second, and then, we're going to answer it. Yeah, so, Dominique, could you talk to the ladies out there and tell them exactly, do it mean that, because you're pretty and you got 4 kids and you're married for 20 years, that you cannot be a businesswoman, or you can't?
No,
Or that's that's an asset. Because you know how to run a household.
For sure.
And then you know how to multitask. That's a business person. That's a
Exactly.
business person. So can the average woman out there, white lady, Spanish lady, black lady, Asian lady, could the average person do it?
Oh, for sure.
So what's the goal? The goal is how
Yeah.
many million?
Yeah.
How many million?
Multiple.
How many million or
Yeah.
how many billion?
Billion is going to be a little hard to get
That,
to.
real hard, right? Got to.
So
right.
so the realistic goal is what? 20 million?
No, that's
Whatever God wants. That's my take
Now
on
God
it.
says you got to have a plan. Though. You got to have a plan.
right.
That's true.
Strategic
Yeah.
plan.
Strategic plan. Don't be scared to talk about money on here. We're not asking you, do you got
Right.
$20 million in the bank? But you can have some millions and still talk about it. I was telling somebody the other day, so, hey, man, do I start talking about more money on there? I'm talking about money, but not for people to start calling me and begging me. But in order for people to understand that I understand financial literacy totally, I do. I'm an entrepreneur, and you guys don't see me on CNN, so you're thinking he don't know. But I'm successful. Look around. All the things that you guys are successful. Look around. It's a partnership.
Yeah.
A husband and a wife, 4 kids, holy matrimony, and you guys speaking the same language, and we talking to the people out there. You guys tune in. Talk to us, though, Dominique. Don't be scared.
Okay.
Talk about that money, mama. Got that.
Well, one of the things I wanted to mention is my first journey in entrepreneurship. When I was younger, my grandmother and a
That's
few
you
of
right
my
there.
aunts
How you looking?
would go out to yard sales, and they would purchase items, and then they would clean it up and resell it at the swap meet. And so I was like one of the only kids that would go because my mom made me, and she would give me my allowance, and then I would purchase these items, clean them up, and sell them at the swap meet. And so I was the only kid. I promise you, I was probably like the only one out of my crew that actually had money. My mom would take her food stamps, go to Smart and Final downtown, buy me a box of candy, and I would sell the candy. I'd buy pencils in bulk and erasers and sharpeners, and I would sell that. So I think that entrepreneurship was just kind of birthed in me. But then my mom also said on the other side, go to school, get a good job. You're guaranteed a good job if you get a degree. And I went that route, but then I was unhappy. I always dreamed of entrepreneurship. I was really good at what I did, but I was always really unhappy. So my husband here actually is the one who put it in my ear. Later on, I went back, got a master's in leadership development, and I loved like the training and development side. And he encouraged me to go and get my real estate license because he said, you'd be really good. You're really good with people. You speak really well and you're intelligent. And I'm telling you, that changed everything. Like, to be honest with you, I was like, I'm good. I'm okay with my job and my couple side hustles on the side. But then, life gets hard. You start wanting more. You have kids. You want to acquire more. And so getting the real estate license, I promise you, is like the best thing ever, especially for a woman and a mother.
We had a Marshawn Govan them on here the other night.
Oh.
You guys, know Marshawn?
Is she a
No, this
she
is a
wrote
guy.
a couple books? Oh, guy. Oh, I've heard of him, but I don't know.
And the other lady was on here too. I'm gonna get her call. Just keep going. I'm
Oh,
just
okay.
interrupting. So we talk about real estate on here all the time.
Oh, nice. So I think just as a woman in general, it has its pros and cons, especially being a woman of color and being in a primarily male dominant industry. It is sometimes it can get discouraging, but my husband tells me there's a little bulldog that lives inside of me, and it comes out when it's time to protect my clients or protect my family, and do whatever is necessary. But I really think that real estate has changed like the financial trajectory for like everything. Like last year was like the first year I crossed six figures. And two, it's like it's just been a blessing to be able to still be present, be a mom, be able to still do those same duties as a mom, as a wife of 21 years. I got 21 years in the game.
Of the family.
That's a lot.
The game of the family.
Right.
But I think overall, just being on this journey of entrepreneurship, you had mentioned about women. I'm really big on women empowerment and women starting businesses. When it comes to business, ladies, you've got to get legit. Like, you've got to get your paperwork in order. You got to get the licenses, because you could actually make money from what you're doing. But also, when it comes to tax purposes and all of those things, it's really important to have that paperwork. And I'm kind of the go-to in my circle pretty often. I will tell people how to start a business, how to get a business license. They're probably tired of seeing me down there because we have like 15 business licenses.
Well, why don't you right now? See, why don't you? That's the issue that I be having here in the tax office. We got a lot of people that they sell sweet potato pie. They got no business license. They braid hair, make $300-$500 a day. They don't have a business license.
Wow.
They clean up people's homes. They do house cleaning. Every year they coming in, I said how important it is to keep your receipts. Go down there and get your business license. Go open up a little simple $100 bank account. And if you want to, you could just go right on the IRS database and get an EIN number. And I'm just holding this up right there. This is a real estate license. I ain't sold a house. I ain't renewed the license in years and years. I don't even know how long it's been. But I'm just pulling this out to just let people know what all is possible. You see that? That's a real estate license. I'm Douglas Best. But I ain't selling houses. I could sell houses. All I got to do is renew the license. But I like to do everything. I like to self-develop everything, so I don't necessarily need a license. But talk to the ladies out there. Ladies out there, this is a prime example of a successful businesswoman here on the Doug Best Show. Somebody tune in. Talk to us. Ask a question. Talk to Dominique.
I think too, like, it's tax time. Hey, some of you have money right now. It really literally will cost you $100 to get all your paperwork together, to actually get a business license, to get your fictitious business name statement. If you don't know what that is, call me, 559-519-5517. There are just simple ways, my cell phone number, if they want to get a business license, right? But I think it's just really simple. But sometimes people want to have the money under the table because they don't want to report it. But what they don't realize is the
Write
tax
it down
benefits.
for big letters.
Right?
From the camera.
The business number, not the personal. And so anyway,
It's all business, baby.
it really is pretty simple concept. It's just a matter of, what are you going to sell? Creating a simple business plan doesn't have to be very complicated. But I actually, my first step in entrepreneurship other than when I was younger was I got a life insurance license. I was tired of living from paycheck to paycheck. I had a degree. I had a good job. I spent, $100 to get a life insurance license. I mean, just little simple things that you could do, things that you're probably already doing. You're doing hair, you're making money, but get the license so you can use the write-offs. I love tech tools, right? So I'm quick to buy a printer or a laptop or something because you can write it off. Your cars, you can write it off. Everything you can write off. Here at Best Taxes, he'll do your taxes, right?
Now this is a camera.
What
right here.
camera?
I'm gonna
You're-
change it right here. This is a camera right there
You
in the
spell
front.
my name wrong?
That's,
No? Okay.
I did, right? I
better
pay
not.
somebody to spell names. I
Oh,
don't care
whatever.
about
oh
that.
my God, he like Henry Ford.
Hey.
hey, yeah, Dominique, keep talking to him. That's just right there. Look, that's her phone number, ladies, our gentlemen. This is right here saying that now we see a legitimate business lady.
Yeah. So I
This
think
if you got a problem, call her. You don't have to call me. You can call her. She could help walk you through the whole process.
just the women. The man could call my husband.
What? Hey,
I don't help men normally, honestly. My ministry is the women and helping women to flourish, entrepreneurship, women empowerment. And that's just always has been my thing.
Tell them who you are
baby,
again.
it's all business.
Dominique Howell,
Dominique Howell.
your home girl.
Okay, well, she's a homegirl. I'm your friend, baby. I'm Doug. I'm your friend here. We on the Doug Best Show. We got Holly. We got Dominique. Their last name is Howell. They build houses. I seen something you had the other day. You said, why buy a house when you could build a house from scratch cheaper?
Right, definitely.
But sometimes it's slower because, you got to go
Sure.
through that long, drawn-out permit process.
Right.
And you need that workforce, and you got a workforce. So, Holly, just tell us, you were saying you got 15 people work for you every day?
I got 1,000 people.
That
No, I'm
many?
just, nah, we just threw the joke in there. No, we have a core of 12 guys. Right now we have how many properties we have going on right now? It's probably
Four and a half? Is it
No.
Oh,
I
oh.
think we've got a home extension job going on,
Oh, that's
300
right.
square feet. Then we have
How many square feet?
300 square foot home extensions, right? So you had to do the rough plumbing, the rough electrical, all that. Then we have 2 other properties going on in Hanford and Lemoore. We have another in Fresno.
like 7.
Then in West Fresno, the trusts were just delivered today.
I
early
seen
in the
that. I
morning.
seen that
Right,
earlier.
right. So I can't wait to show the people that. But I made a statement a few years back. Like right when I was in LA looking at the big buildings. What were we on? Probably Sunset. And I made a post and I said, you know what? I want to build these skyscrapers, right?
Okay.
And and so we're on our way one day, right? We're on our way, but it starts here, expanding the crew, having a goal. As a matter of fact, I also said in that post that I wanted to work on schools, right? Do prevailing wage jobs. So we just completed our first prevailing wage job at a preschool in Selma, right? We just
So tell the
completed
people
that.
what prevailing wage is. Though.
So prevailing wage, it's the state. It could be state, it could be federal. As far as put it to you like this: in the carpenter union, everything's prevailing wage. It's you're going to get paid the most money possible that a construction worker can get paid in that specific trade. With the state or federal, right? So it's like the high-speed rail, for instance. Break it down to you like this. So I'm a journeyman, carpenter union. Haven't worked for the union in a long time, but I pay my dues because there's a lot of work for us. We'll line 100 guys up and say, hey, you're non-union, you're not crossing this path, right? I don't even know who owns the union, but a journeyman's prevailing wage on a bridge job right now in Fresno, California is about $64 an hour.
Okay, so stay with me right there.
Go ahead.
So if he gets $64 an hour, and the minimum wage is about $15, $16.
Right.
Oh my God. I would prefer to do prevailing wages any day of the month. But I don't want prevailing. I need a little more.
Well, okay,
That's not a job.
okay, but
I need $1,000 an hour minimum. That's a true story.
That's why we're entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah,
so that wage, it's a good wage,
That's
right?
an excellent wage.
It's an excellent wage, right? But see what we're doing, there's no cap on what we're doing. See, somebody, for me, it's kind of like Denzel in American Gangster when he was playing Frank Luke. He says, hey, but nobody owns me though. So here at Hollywood's Construction as an entrepreneur, they don't own me, right? So there's no cap on the income that I can make. That's why I'm an entrepreneur. That's why she's an entrepreneur or hustler, right? You know
That's
what I'm saying?
you know, so words got a connotation, they got a denotation. Yeah, there's sometimes, the connotation of the word hustler, it makes it seem like you're associating yourself with the mud in the streets. That's not true. So the reason why Jay-Z and 50 Cent and Diddy also were so successful in corporate America is because they took that hustler mentality and they became business and financial literate. So they were able to understand what the people in the boardrooms didn't understand. That's why we're so upset with Shannon Sharp. He didn't grow up in the mud, and he cast aside all the information, all the knowledge that he got from growing up poor. I don't know if he was in Mississippi, or was he in Alabama or Louisiana, wherever he was.
Right.
So ain't nothing wrong with being a hustler. Jay-Z said, I'm a hustler, baby.
Hey.
Whoa.
Did you hear him say that?
Oh yeah, he said that.
I'm gonna give you $1 million worth of game for $9.99.
Hey. Right.
But right here, you on the Doug Best Show.
Right.
You get $1 million worth of game for free. All we asking just one thing. Everybody, anybody, I don't care whoever you are, man, just go to YouTube and subscribe. And this the beauty. We talked about this earlier, Dominique and Holly. We don't know who watching us.
No.
It could be. I say this all the time, and people think he's crazy. Donald Trump could be watching us right now, because how would he know what's going on down here in these inner cities unless he watched the podcast? That's the beauty about what happened with the smartphones, the computers, and the technological media. That's what happens. They made the playing field even, almost even. That's why, man, I'm so happy. It's so beautiful that you guys came on the show and we just talking. Remember, earlier we was just saying, man, when we just having a conversation, that's the podcast. But it has to be real so the people outside could feel it, because they could tell if something too glib, too smooth. We just want to be down to earth. And then in my situation, I try to be a little more open about my personal life than a lot of people want to be, because I feel like I'm independent right now. And all of us, that if somebody get mad at me in a position of power, they can cut my head off on a moment's notice. But one thing that I got here on the Doug Best Show that Stephen A. Smith and them don't got. Yesterday when he was talking about his friend Shannon Sharp, he said, yeah, he's on his podcast. Yeah, I do own this show, but I got a day job. ESPN, owned by Disney. And he had to get permission to mention the owner of Disney's name on the show. I ain't got to do that. I guess all of us, somewhere in our lives, we got to do a little cooning. Even Dr. Omar, he pretending him and Al Sharpton pretending like they ain't. Sometimes you're always going to have some people in a position of power and you're going to have to yell. We call it, somebody say you might have to humble yourself. But the truth is you got to do a little buck dancing. What you think, Dominique? What you doing, Dominique?
That's right.
Yeah, Holly, ain't tell the truth, man. Ain't somewhere. Sometimes you might want to say, man, that motherfucker. Well, but you can't say that. You say, excuse me, sir. you got to be politically correct.
Right. That's a fact.
Fact of life.
A fact, most definitely. I do recall.
No, I don't recall.
No,
you do recall.
Hey, I gotta say
back.
something, right? So there was a particular school right, was being built on.
Don't say the wrong
There was
thing, 'cause I
there
see
was a
Dominique
school.
looking at you like,
I'm not going. You know, we're
I
gonna.
need to slip and
We,
say the
you
power,
know,
like,
hey.
I think I
So they
understand.
say. So there was a school, right, and certain things create monsters in people. So there was this school, and you know, one of my supers said to me, right? He said to me at the end of the day, he said to me, he said, we were having a conversation.
you can look
I
at the
can't-
camera. And
We
tell
were
the people
having
what
a
you said.
conversation, so I won't go into great detail, but I'll say something that he said, and he said, "Hey, well, you remember this?" He said, "You remember this, boy?" He says, "Black is beautiful."
Wait. He said, what now?
Hey, now,
Wait a minute.
now. So he said, "You remember this, boy? Black is beautiful, tan is grand, but white is the color of the big boss man." You remember that time I came home?
I knew
Now,
you were
so I
gonna say-
had two options. Now, I had said something before. Now, mind you,
Okay.
I
I'm gonna put you
had
on the
to-
camera for
yeah,
that
yeah,
one,
yeah.
baby.
So
you gotta
I
talk
had,
to the people.
So yeah. So this is real. So I had to I had two decisions. I mean, the dude, I had two decisions. I mean, I could have laid him out, right? He wasn't ready for what I had for him, you know.
Oh yeah,
and
the
that-
preacher man got them
Hey,
things. You
What do you mean? I'm the youngest of 5 boys. What you
Okay.
talking about? You
Okay,
know what
well,
I'm saying? There's a few scars on my face, you know. Yeah,
Dominique.
so yeah, right. You know, so I had two options. It was like, all right, you got these kids at home, but you could lay this dude out. You're in the union. You could lay him out. They'll send you to another site. They won't fire you. We like cowboys over there. But yeah, you know, so, but I didn't do that. But what I did do when I went home, I told her about it, and she said, you know what, you guys are working for a general contractor. I mean, this guy is just the superintendent. You know, he has no contractor's license. And so it sparked something in me. It said, well, you know what? I don't want to be this guy, this little guy. I want to be the owner of a company having guys like him, not like him, but guys working underneath me. I want to be the one that's building this school. And it inflamed me. So from that point on, I took the aspect of that old book, The Spook That Sat by the Door, right? He went during the 1960s, I believe it was, and the CIA had to hire him just to say they were within guidelines, certain like me being hired on certain jobs before. And I look at the demographics of the people around me, and I notice, ain't too many of these brothers around here, but we might need a couple to say we're within guidelines. So I got that, right? Whatever. You know what I mean? But as I said, it sparked something within me to become, because they figured, oh, you'll never be this, you'll never be that. You know what I mean? But now I am. You know what I'm saying? And we got our own construction company, and we're flourishing, we're growing every day, you know.
That's beautiful. Guys, that's a wonderful story right here. I'm looking at a few people that chime in. Ray Chapman Sr. says, for the wages of sin is death. And you sin, your sins will be revealed. He's talking about Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp was warned. And Coach Jerry Taylor, J.T. Taylor says, keep it real, my people. And then J.T. Taylor says, what about the bean pie? That's sweet potato pie right there. And my senorita just weighed. Guys, I was hoping we had more people to tune in, but everybody, I'm happy just for the people that are tuning in. For everybody just that are tuning in. So we got Holly Howell, and we got his beautiful wife, Dominique, and we got some lady in the window just waving at us.
Oh, yeah, right.
She said, I want to be on the show. We can't be too friendly with it because they'll start knocking on the door. Yeah, guys, but we on the Doug Best Show, and, you know, we talking about construction. We talking about a partnership between a husband and a wife, real estate, finances, loans, notaries, business, entrepreneurship, big business. And so you say the goal is what? You want to be like Bonadelli? Want to be bigger than Bonadelli? I went out there in Madera. You know, I had a couple of guys work for me, and they ended up getting hired out there. One of them was a plumber. Other one was a roofer, Bonadelli Homes out there. I might have been Highway Avenue 23 or something like that out there. You know those big complexes.
Tesoro Viejo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then also I remember they was doing
Riverstone
something
Community.
on copper a few
Across the
years
street.
ago.
Riverstone's across the street from Tesoro.
You guys' admirations is to do something like that?
Yes, definitely. Track homes.
Track homes.
We're knocking on a few doors. You know,
I think one of the other things is too, like a sober living homes, for both men and women.
Oh,
That's one of the goals that we talked about.
Right.
most definitely.
So you guys, you talking about? I got a friend named Bobby Jones and his wife.
Yeah, yeah.
You know Bobby?
Well, I mean, the barbecue is great,
Bobby
and he's a dog man like myself,
oh
right?
my God, he got
breed,
that very yeah,
breed,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So they do that.
Oh, nice.
They do that. I do their taxes. Bobby and his wife. But that seemed like, man, that takes so much time and so much energy. I want to be in a position where I don't have to be locked in with a ball and a chain, and still can make me a couple of million a year.
Right.
Yeah. So when you get into those residential homes, you almost got to be there.
Well, you can be there without actually being there. Your employees are there. Doug, me and you might be in Hawaii talking on the island. You checking on your business, I'm checking on mine. Hey,
Yeah, with technology, I could see that.
Sure.
I could see
And
that.
I'm not the hands-on. I'm more of I facilitate and the business strategist. And I come in, do the business plan, set it all up, and somebody else runs it.
Right. And then, but now it's getting a competent employees.
That part.
That's another issue.
Right.
Getting a competent. I just wonder, Apple, Tesla,
Sure.
and all those other different large enterprises, do they have the same problem with the employees that we have on this level right here? What do you guys think? Because money just don't do it. You could pay the
Right.
people the right amount of money, and then you come back. Then sometimes you know how much to turn the holly on them. Say, man, I just gave you $300, and I've been gone for 4 hours, and you ain't paying but one wall.
Right. So we had this
You're
thing.
not coming back the next day.
But then if you
Check
get rid of
Tuesday.
them, Will, you got to get somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
That's the
right.
problem.
Exactly. That's how it goes. There's always
High turnover.
Oh, very
Certainly.
high turnover. Yeah.
Certainly.
I think we
right?
deal with that a lot, a very high turnover. People just don't want to work anymore. The work ethic is just not there, but I think it's tough. But at the end of the day, like, the business still needs to be ran. So, hey, I'm like, there are plenty of workers, there's
Where they
plenty
at?
of people sitting
Oh.
outside of Home Depot. They're ready to
No.
work. I'm just
No,
joking.
because
I'm
they'll
joking.
come back
I'm
later on
joking.
that night and steal your stuff.
No, I'm
Right,
joking.
right.
But I'm just saying that, it is tough running a business.
It is,
From that
and
standpoint.
we talk about high turnover rates, right? And I have a saying that sticks with me: those who stayed couldn't leave, and those who left couldn't stay. You've got your core. I'm a general, but I have my commanders. Like, I have 2 supers, right? Then I have journeymans. I have foremans, right? There's a pecking order. I have apprentice, and this line of order is what I did learn in the union. It should be ran a certain way, right? And majority of the time of the many construction companies that I worked for, I hardly ever met the GC of the company. No, but of course, these companies, they have been running for about 40, 50 years, but they did start from the ground, some of them.
What about banking? How you guys do that? And so, do you guys separate and compartmentalize? The FICO score for your personal FICO score and the business FICO score. Is it a LLC? Is it an S corporation or C corporation? For the people out there that just listening.
So
it's
go ahead.
Well, it's
Finance head of financing. Go ahead. Right.
I'm like, I hate when you say
Oh, the
that.
CFO, huh?
CFO, Chief
Um,
Financial
well,
Officer.
we have a few different accounts.
entities. I'm not talking
a
about
few
account.
different entities. We have two LLCs.
Mm-hmm.
Soon, Hollywood's Construction will be an S corp. Really soon, we're actually working with someone to do that now,
Mm-hmm.
to turn it into an S corp just because of the tax benefits.
Mm-hmm.
But even on the real estate side, I have a LLC called Restore Financial Solutions.
Mm-hmm.
So we both run them in that aspect with the LLCs, so that we have both our personal and business as well.
Right.
You know,
And then so the money. So if you was trying to go over there like my project,
Sure.
and you needed $500,000, you guys got the capacity to go down there and you could just say, Big Al, man, I'm gonna need to, it's the banker at Chase. I need to come down there, man. I'd see if I need 100,000 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
You guys got it like that, or you got to go through the long, drawn out process. I ain't trying to get up in your person. See, look,
I like.
but we talk.
Personal,
We talk.
Mr. Best.
Huh?
I'm just messing with you.
That's just
Yeah.
some small number because you could bleed Jay-Z now. You see,
Right.
Kanye West had 144 million in
Right.
Chase Bank. Diamond told me he had to take the money out.
Mm.
So if Kanye, I'm listening to Kanye
Sure.
all the time, a brilliant brother. I like the brother, but he ain't no more brilliant than me. I don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know he's a rapper.
Right. Right.
I can't hold a note,
Yeah.
but I got good sense. But so what my point is you guys got business relationships with the banks,
Oh,
or
definitely.
you guys
Have
go to with different other kind of financial institution, like in hard money, or we just talking.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think there's a couple of different options. I mean, we definitely have good relationships with our banks, and
Sure.
we have our go-to bankers that we go to.
Mm-hmm.
But even as a construction company, there's lots of different options. There's net 30s. There's other options with vendors. So we're really big on
great
building
relationships with
So
vendors.
sometimes we can get material.
07.
Yeah,
Right?
and we get really
You
good
know.
discounts too, like on the flooring, on the paint, and all of that. So
What
someti-
vendors? You talking about Lowe's, Home Depot,
Oh,
Countrywide?
no, we're
A
pros
little
for
bit
them,
of both.
but
We're pros for
but
those
no,
companies,
we-
the bigger companies, but
it's-
even some of the sourcing of
flooring
smaller
companies,
companies.
lumber yards,
Yeah,
lumber yards, drywall, whatever. This room right here, whatever it takes to build this room. That's what any of the material, this tile, this vinyl. Those relationships are great also.
and
With a line
initially-
of credit, or you got to go in
Right.
there with.
Well, line of credit, but we do have some really good relationships where some of our vendors know that we, come there often, and we spend. I mean, I don't even know how much we spend at Home
Thousands.
Depot and
You
Lowe's
spend
and
a
all
lot,
those kind
yeah.
of stores.
Well,
And so
well,
they even
I
know
got
me,
pros too.
you know.
So Home Depot, they have a system with the Pro Rewards. So we're
I got Pro
Elite,
Rewards. Yeah.
Pro Elite.
So I think
there, and-
initially
so-
though, when we first started, like we didn't know about all of these things. So
Right.
like we were putting in our own money,
Mm-hmm.
from our jobs or our savings, and literally pouring everything into the business. And
Right.
then we learned about business credit and how we can leverage other people's money. And so that's and we're still learning. We learn every single day. We're always researching. This guy doesn't sleep. so he's always like, hey,
There-
I found this new resource. I need you to apply. Right.
Yeah, so I used to run a showroom back in 2007. It wasn't mine. I was working for Payless Flooring
What kind of
and
showroom?
Counter.
No, he was.
Hey,
No.
I'm just playing.
It
Not
was
the
all
Hollywood
kinda
showroom.
Right,
Not
right.
the Hollywood
Hey.
showroom.
Yeah, right. So I was a sales estimator there back in 2007, right? And it's a subsidiary of kind of Bedrosians, right? So this company was Payless Flooring and Countertops. They sold granite and countertops, did kitchen and bath remodels, right? So I was the man behind the music and I would sit behind the computer and put all the numbers in the QuickBooks, right? I didn't think there was any money in construction till I got behind that screen. So long story short, I began to meet all these different vendors all over Fresno, right? I was actually the sales estimator. Me and Ed's Victory Grill, you ever ate there?
Where's it at?
Me and Ed's Victory Grill in Granite Park, I think.
Yeah, I've been over there.
Okay, right. So the GC over the building of that, me and Ed's Victory Grill was.
Terrence Frazier got a spot over there.
Yeah. I see. So when me and Ed's Victory Grill was built, it was built by a man by the name of Douglas Wild, big GC who builds all the me and Ed's here in town. So, anyways, my role in it was the company I was working for did all the countertops, right? I was just the guy just sitting there learning, right? So, but my role was the sales estimator as far as ordering these quartz countertops that we used over there. We went with Caesar stone, right? So, long story short, when it comes to materials, it's like I've been dealing with the plug for a lot of years, right? So when I show up to the plug and it's like, hey, I'm gonna buy two. He gonna throw 10 at me, like, cause he know I'm gonna bring it back. I don't want to say it like that, but
No,
you know
no,
what I
I
mean.
got
And
you,
we
but that
talking
makes
to the
sense.
people, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
So
we've been honest here.
right.
You know, but what I learned from building an apartment complex over there, I knew this all the time, but I didn't do it. What you should do when anytime you build this a little information, you get $99, $1 million
Hey,
worth of game for free. Is what you should do. And what I didn't do is you should always do a bill of materials, a
mm,
bomb. That's what they call it. Take your time, itemize everything out, just like doing a business plan.
mm-hmm,
And then that way you don't have all these cost overruns. Take your time. You can estimate everything all the way out. That's what a bill of material is. And so you basically know how much it costs to build a fourplex. But what I did is just whatever I want. I need $10,000 worth of lumber. We go to Lowe's or Home Depot and just have them to bring it out in 48 hours. But what I should have did is went and took my time and just itemized everything out to the smallest detail. That's what I learned
mm-hmm.
from this project. So when I do the next project, I, I'm gonna be a lot more keen towards being meticulous to the details.
Sure.
Yeah, guys, you on the Doug Best Show. We got Holly and his wife Dominique. We just sitting here, we just chopping it up, and we talking about real estate. We talking about finances. We talking about women and ownership. And then there's no limit there's no difference between Holly and whoever else is the biggest black contractor in the city, Dominique and Oprah Winfrey. The only difference is Oprah's just on the platform.
Mm.
For his intelligence, man, I'm telling you, we go all over the world. I see all kinds of people, and I be saying, and this, I talk to everybody. I got that kind of personality. And the guy will tell me, well, he's running a $200 million company, and I'm thinking, this guy don't seem too smart. That's what I'm saying in my mind. So oftentimes, when we see people in those big, powerful positions, they ain't all that. They ain't all that. We might be way more than what we think we are. That's why I was saying earlier. You got to get compensated for whatever your knowledge and your expertise is. And you'll be a fool if my son out there selling sweatshirts for $29 and he could actually sell them for $79. And you don't got enough confidence in your own ability to say this what my value is, and I'm not accepting nothing less. That's where I'm at in my life, right? You guys right there?
I love it.
Yeah,
Hey.
so this what the Doug Best Show is right here, man, for guys out there. If we got anybody out there, if anybody ever come to the show and look at it. This one I'm trying to instill into the young Mexican guys, the young white guys out there, the young cats out there in the hood that's hustling. I'm not telling you to sell no drugs or nothing like that, but I'm just telling you, you could be from that demographics and still be successful. And you could get on one of these podcasts, you could talk about it, and I see the guy named John Hope. John Hope Bryan always talking about don't be flossing. I ain't flossing. This is like real life. This is like real life. And then you see me, you see the two of them. I ain't saying that that we ain't busting our behinds working 14, 15 hours a day. But life is good. This is beautiful. This is love. I'm watching the chemistry between you guys. It's almost when she says something, he could almost answer it. And when he says something, it's almost she almost is about to say what he's saying, because that means that y'all on the same wavelength. This is beautiful. And this is why we on the Doug Best Show. I'm hoping that we got somebody out there that's going to go to YouTube and subscribe. Tell all your friends about it. I'm going to make it a point. Every Friday at 7 o'clock, I don't care where we at in the world, even if I'm on a plane, I said this earlier. As soon as I get off that plane, I'm taking my phone out. We're going to do a podcast. And we start traveling on the 12th. Everywhere. Start with a cruise, and then we get on a plane. Then we're going to go to this country, and then we're going to go to that country. We're going to go to Japan for 13, 14, 15 days, fly back to Mexico, do that little circuit. We're going to come back. I'm not sure if I'm going to fly to St. Louis, Missouri in the next few days for my cousin Lonnie's passing. I'm not sure. I might not. How you guys feel? You know, we're going to take a couple of minutes and wrap it up. And then both of you guys just take a couple of minutes, man, just talk to the people. Let's start with the beautiful lady, Dominique. Talk to us. Tell the people. I'm going to put the camera on you right now. That's you right now. You talking to the people.
I was like, what do I say?
Just pull the microphone up to you and just talk to them, you know, just because you got some people out there in the world that's thinking because, you know, they're a mom. They got 2, 3, 4, 5 kids and they got to be on welfare for the rest of their life, or they got to keep dealing with a little pimp and acting like a damn fool, and they can't be independent. Those are the women that you're talking to right now. And you're a living example of what's possible.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a lot of time to, you know, give you my backstory, but I was once that kid that had to stand, you know, in the lines at churches to get free food. I had to stand in the lines to get Toys for Tots, you know, toys. And my mom just always said you could do anything you put your mind to, you know. And it took me a while to really remember that. And oftentimes I have to remind myself, you know, but I have not yet arrived. I'm not where I want to be, but, you know, I'm definitely striving every day to be better than I was yesterday. But I do feel that everybody, we're all born with innate gifts, talents, a skill that you could turn into a business. You can make it happen. You know, we purchased our first home. I was what was I? 21.
21.
We got married. I was 19. We purchased our first house at 21, and I'm still 21. I'm just joking. I'm lying, right?
Don't use 21. That's Shannon's age. He was searching for.
Oh, don't put me in that category.
I'm just playing.
But anyway, you know, all it takes is just a goal and change your mindset, you know, and just believe that you can do it. Even if nobody else believes in you, that's okay. As long as you believe in you and you keep taking steps in the right direction, you can make anything possible. I really do believe that. I'm living the life now that I dreamed of as a kid, you know? And even if you're single or you're married, it doesn't matter.
But what's more important is the peace of mind and the love that you and Holly share, or is it the money?
Oh, no. You know, here's the thing, you know, there's a saying, you know, in a famous book, you know, you can gain the whole world and lose your soul, right? The money is important. Yes, it's important. We got to pay our bills. Let's be real, right? Let's be honest. I like nice stuff. I need some money to do that, but it's the love. It's the family. It's being present. You know, I'm able to be present with my 4 daughters, you know, being a present mom, a present wife, you know, being just in general, you know, I'm a normal everyday person like everybody else. My mom said, you treat the CEO the same as you treat the janitor. Treat them both the same. You know, nothing changes. I've had 6 figures in the bank account. I've had a negative bank account, and I'm still the same. We're still the same people, you know? And so at the end of the day, it's the love. Matter of fact, this last weekend, Holly likes to barbecue. Daddy owes wings and things.
Oh,
one day,
11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
I got the belt on the Western Coast.
Yeah, when we retire, right? Like we're like, oh, we're gonna open up a restaurant. We have no intention of cooking at the restaurant, right? But anyhow, he was barbecuing, and I was just kind of sitting there and organizing the house, cleaning the house, or whatever. And after everything was all said and done, we all sat at the table and ate. The house was clean. There was a candle lit. And I thought, this is life. Like, this is what we created. Our bills are paid. We have good health. Our family, you know, we're good. We have good food to eat. I mean, this right there, like, that's why we work hard. It's not about the fancy cars, the fancy clothes, and all of that kind of stuff. That stuff is important, but it's materialistic, right? Like, we can't, you never see a U-Haul at a at
Funeral.
a funeral, right? At a cemetery, right? And so all that is important, but it's the love, you know? It's the, we don't always agree, right? We don't always agree. Sometimes I'll go on the job sites and I'm like, look, this is not right, this, that, and the other. And I'll be in my zone, you know, and sometimes we don't agree on everything, but we know what our strengths are. We know, you know, what he's the numbers guy. Like, I don't want anything to do with numbers, but we know what our strengths are and we make it work,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah, Holly, just give us a couple of minutes to wrap it up, man. That's your camera right there. You
Oh,
talking to the people. Give us a
yeah.
couple of minutes and telling you. I'm happy that the both of you guys came on the Doug Best Show.
Yeah.
I hope when we upload it, you guys share it to your friends and share it to your friends, you know, and subscribe. And man, just talk to the people about
Yeah.
whatever you feel like talking about.
Well, first off, when it comes to the money, it's a tool. It's a needed tool, right? Where there's little known, there's little required. Where there's much known, there's much required. And so I believe that the Lord gives opportunity, and we all have opportunity. We have to learn to seize each and every day, each and every minute of every day. 1,440. What are you going to do with it? And then imagine what you can do if you do everything you can do. That's the core of me, right? Just going hard in the paint. It's not about what someone else thinks of me. It's not about what they say about me. It's what I say about me when I look in that mirror and what God says about me, right? And then have a goal. Life looks better when you aim, when you're shooting at a target, when you're going after something, right? Michael Irvin once said, way back in the day when I was trying to be the greatest tailback on earth, he says, hey, it's easy being the best. And I'm like, how's it easy? But he said it's easy being the best if you work harder than the rest. And working hard does not always mean, working with my hands, or it doesn't always mean the guy who's on the computer the longest, right? But it's just diligence, the progressive realization of a worthy ideal, always going after something. Doesn't matter where you came from. There's opportunity. And I just want to say, seize it. That's all we try to do.
Yeah, guys, that's beautiful. Man, this is a beautiful Friday right here. So we seen each other, guys, on the Doug Best Show, and I got Holly and Dominique Howell on the show with me. It's Friday. And we seen each other on the Facebook. This is how we met. And we start communicating, and then here we are on the Doug Best Show. We never met each other in life. I'm sure in this little small town, you guys had heard about me because I've been here my whole life. But here we are right here. So what brought us to this point right here? Some invisible power that we'll never know. And so what are we trying to do right here? We're trying to instill something into the people that's listening to us and to try to use our life as an example. Not that we perfect, for surely not me. But we want the people to know, no matter what demographics that you're in, we just regular people, and success come in all kinds of different forms. I got a bunch of money. Why you always talking about money? Because people want their leaders to have money, and then they want to see, but I work my ass off. You guys see me every day. I work hard. And so we here, and so we hoping that there's somebody out there that see us. I don't care what city that you in. Somewhere when we repost this thing and reshare it and we upload it to YouTube, my whole goal is to be able to have the show and be able to instill something into somebody else and to bring more value to their life. And I'm happy that you guys came. I appreciate it. I'm happy that we got all the new friends out there in Facebook land and on the social media. And guys, just be the best that you can. Ain't nobody perfect. We see the movie stars and the rest of those people. That's what they are, characters. And here on the Doug Best Show, this is real life. And then I'm happy you guys came, man. Okay,
Pleasure.
Thank you for inviting
Thank you.
us.
We appreciate it.
Okay, guys, and then we're going to close out, and then I want everybody that's out there that you know that you see me. Oh yeah, you know I'm trying to be suited and booted.
Hey, fresh.
Fresh to death.
Hey, Dougie Fresh.
Just call me your friend, baby. Everybody that's out there, if you get an opportunity, you know somebody that want to be on the show. My phone number is all over the world. Everywhere we go, you're gonna see the Doug Best Show podcast, orange ones, or you're gonna see the yellow signs. Just call me. You guys want to be on the show? An issue you want us to talk about? Just call me and we'll put it on here. I'm gonna be 100% sincere with you. I'm gonna try to do everything with some respect and try to bring some value. I'm happy everybody tuned in tonight, and let's just keep going, guys. Let's just be the best that we can. You ain't never gonna be perfect. Thanks. I'll see you guys in a bit soon.